Hi, welcome to Vicky Makes and Builds. Right, so in my most recent puzzle haul video, I featured two puzzles that I had been gifted from a company called Unified Pieces, and these are the puzzles that were gifted to me. Firstly, there was this one, which is called Da Boom, and secondly, there was this one, which is called Color Bliss. What I decided in that last video and what I suggested was that I do one of them for a YouTube video, and I put up a poll on the community tab and asked you to vote for which one you'd love to see the most. And the vote was for this one here, Color Bliss. So I'll get to the unboxing and have a wee look at the pieces shortly, but before I do that, I just wanted to have a wee look at the box itself and some of the information on the box. First of all, you've got the front of the box, the top, which is just a full image, which is really great because there's no information obscuring that. What you also have on one of the long sides is a small version of the image which covers the whole side, but it also says 1,000 pieces and it's got the name of the puzzle at the bottom. Now, many of Unified Pieces images are actually in a portrait orientation. The same goes for Da Boom, which is just here in front of me. Having that there means that it kind of sits nice upright on my shelf, and the two puzzles together, and indeed if I had a row of Unified Pieces puzzles, they look really good on the shelf, kind of like a row of books, and it's really easy to identify which puzzle that you're looking for because of this snippet of the image down the side. So these puzzles really do have a luxurious look and feel to them. On the opposite long side of the puzzle, you've got just a few more bits of information. Got 1,000 Unified Pieces again, the name of the puzzle, and underneath it says Colour Collection. And then on the left hand side here, you've got 1,000 piece puzzle and the size of the puzzle in both inches and in millimeters as well. So that's all handy information. And then as far as the top and bottom ends go, it's just a couple of sentences. On one side it talks about how it's only recycled paper content used in this puzzle, and on this side it talks about how with each puzzle purchase, Unified Pieces contribute to charitable organisations, and you can have a look at their website to find out more about what organisations they support. So that's really lovely as well. But then the most information to find is on the back of the puzzle. So you've got a smaller kind of full image of the puzzle just in this top left corner. And then beside that, it says the Color Bliss collection is a collection of blissful gradients produced by designer/puzzler Gamaliel, and underneath that is his Instagram tag, which is at gadget_meezy. Incidentally, Meezy is actually the founder of Unified Pieces as well, and he is the one that reached out to me to gift me these puzzles, and I really just want to thank Meezy for that very, very much, because I have really, really enjoyed building Da Boom, which I've already built, and I'm seriously looking forward to this one as well. So thank you so much for that. And then underneath the information about the artwork, it says that Unified Pieces is a Black-owned company focused on creating a high-quality, fresh, frame-worthy, non-tech, meditative experience from artists and designers from all over the world. And then at the bottom, you've got some social media information about the company itself, and there's a nice little logo here, as well as other things like the size of the puzzle again. So before I've even opened this box, I'm just so impressed by the thought and effort that has gone into this puzzle. It's just the most beautifully presented jigsaw puzzle I've ever come across. It just feels lovely in your hand. It feels like a luxurious puzzle, and inside the box it only gets better. But before I get to opening the box, I just want to mention that I have a discount code for you today, and I will put a link in the description which you can click on. It'll take you to the Unified Pieces website. You can have a wee look at the designs that they do, and if you use code Vicky20, you can get 20% off a Unified Pieces puzzle. So do have a look in my description for that. Right, so that was everything. Now let's open this up and have a look at the pieces. The box has like a soft feel to it, and I'm going to just open it up. So it's like magnetized here. There's a flap here that just sticks down and it's magnetized. So when you open it up, it opens up like a book. I've got the lovely big Unified Pieces logo there, and it comes in a nice soft green bag this time. Daboom came in a black bag, I think. Got the logo on it again. Before I pour them into the box, I'm just going to take out these things that are underneath. So it comes with a image on a cardboard stand. So you just bend these two bits at the back and you can stand it up like that and use it as a guide for your puzzle, which would be great for me because normally I just put the box lid over there, but that's a lot more easy to kind of use, and it's a bit lighter to put in the background. It's not liable to fall over. And then we have a poster of the puzzle. So that's really good as well. So just having a quick look at the image before I open the pieces. This is a gradient, but it's not your usual type of gradient. This has actually got lines on it. It's quite geometric. You've got hexagons, you've got triangles, and all the lines overlap each other, so it makes these cool other wee shapes. You've got like a diamond there, and you've got like a four-sided shape there, and I mean, it's just lovely. And then the colours also overlap each other in different shapes. So you've got like a semicircle here, which overlaps this middle circle, and then the crossover of the colours creates other colours. And it's just really different. I really, really liked the design as soon as I saw this. I think that all the different patches of colour will make this quite a sortable puzzle. And obviously you can sort pulling out, you know, pieces with the lines on them. So I probably will sort this puzzle, but I really do. I think this is going to be so much fun. So I'm going to put that back in there because I will use the cardboard stand as my guide. And I think I'm not going to pull them in the box. I'm just going to put the box to one side and I'm going to pull them out on the table because I do intend, as I say, on sorting these pieces. But we will have a really good look at them all now then, to make sure I get them out without dropping any. Right, and we'll pop that down there. A little bit of a rummage. Now these pieces look like such great quality. They really do. They've got the same soft feel as the box itself. It puts me in mind a little bit of like an Art and Fable puzzle. They have the Velvet Touch pieces. It's maybe not quite as soft as that, but there's definitely a softness to these pieces that just makes them really nice to use and to put together. What you've got here is it's like a random cut puzzle, but there are areas of random cut rather than the whole thing being kind of weird and wacky shapes. So you do have some standard shapes in there. Shapes like this. There's a lot of variety in the different shapes. You've got edge pieces, obviously. And then you've got, there's another one that's more of a standard shape. I'm trying to see if there's, there we go, that's kind of a standard shape as well. So, but what you've also got is pieces like this, where you've got an in and an out on the same side. You've got pieces like this, which is kind of a bit more triangular in shape. You've got standard pieces that are just kind of elongated and maybe slightly different sizes. Pieces like this. So just another element of interest to this puzzle. And I think it's going to be really good fun to build. Now, they're quite thick pieces. They're really sturdy. The image on the piece appears to be true to the colours of the box image, and it's just the standard blue cardboard on the back. There's hardly any dust. You can see a tiny bit there, but there really isn't very much dust at all. And as I say, you've got that nice soft feel to the pieces as well. So it is just, I can't wait to put this together. I really can't. Okay, so that is the sorting done. And there's not much to explain really. I've just sorted by colour. I've got shades of green over on this side. This has more kind of yellows in it. That's kind of like a minty shade of green. Then we've got darker blues, lighter blues, purples. I'll come back to that one. That's like pinks, dark pinks, and then we've got edge pieces. This is kind of really light colours, but there's also some oranges and colours really that just seem to be neither here nor there. They just, you can see that they're blending from one colour into another. So they're more, that's slightly more of a miscellaneous pile, but these are more kind of blended colours from one going into another. Because it does blend in certain areas, like down there, for example, but there's also very stark lines separating some of the colours. And some of the colours are in different parts of the puzzle. So there's some dark blue there, for example, and then there's some up there as well. So I think this is maybe going to be slightly more tricky than your average gradient, but I'm just really going to follow the same kind of strategy that I usually follow with gradients, and I'm just going to pick colour piles and work on them one at a time. So what I thought I would do with this one is start with the blue, because it's not too huge a pile, and then do this pile here, because this actually, a lot of this colour is next to the blue, and you can see some blue on some of these pieces, and I think maybe they might go together fairly quickly after I've done the blue. So I'm going to start with those two. I'll put the edges together. I don't think I'll necessarily do those at the start. I'll just kind of try and chip away at them as I go along. But I'm going to start with that, and then I'm not sure after that. I'll just see where the puzzle takes me, and I'm sure I'll have decided by the time I've finished those two sections. So that's what I'm going to do. Starting with the blue, moving on to the dark pinks. Okay, so as you can see, I filled out a good chunk of this blue semicircle here and the dark pink in the top corner, and I've managed to add on some of the edge as well, which is also extended over to the top. So I've done all of the top edge and a little bit down the left. Now this puzzle is portrait orientation, and I mean, I know that because that's the way it is on the box, but also that's the way the stand has it, so that it goes that way. And so far I have been building it that way, but it's pretty soon going to go off the table and out of the camera shot. So I think it's going to make sense now to turn the puzzle 90 degrees and build it horizontally, just so I can fit it on properly and you'll be able to see it coming together a little bit better. I have a little floaty patch here of blue, which is that bit there at the bottom. I've pulled these ones out. This is my tiny little pile of sort of really light blue pieces that I'll hopefully try and put in. I'm a wee bit uncertain on what to tackle next. I'm wondering about having a go at this really light green / yellow pile. I was avoiding the greens because with gradients normally I do have trouble with greens, but these piles aren't particularly big. And the purples and pinks and things, they are quite big. So I'm thinking I might just avoid those for now and move on over to this left side of the puzzle where there's some nice bright yellows that should hopefully go together fairly well. And touch wood, I won't have too much trouble with the greens. Okay, so I took out all of the yellowy pieces and some of those light blues, and during the course of that I ended up pulling out the miscellaneous pile, because a lot of these areas where it's yellow, there's like areas where it's kind of one of these transition colors between like this kind of light green and then this yellow here, and then like here and around here. So I ended up pulling those out just to try and piece some of the loose sections that I was building up together, and by and large I did manage to do that. And then once I dipped in and out of this pile a little bit, these kind of mint green ones, that's what's left of my brighter green come yellow colours. So I was kind of dipping in and out of a few piles, and then eventually when I got a lot of big chunks like this bit here, and some of the bits that I've managed to attach to here were just kind of floating, I decided to break into the purple pieces, which are all spread out down here now. And so that's allowed me to fill in this middle section, some of this bit up here, and this bit here where it goes kind of from blue to purple. Now the purple pile was quite large, and there are a lot of varying shades of purple, from kind of really dark down here to, you know, really quite light down here. And so I was able to use shade a little bit, but the tricky thing about this puzzle is that there are different parts of the puzzle with similar colours in, so sometimes it's difficult to know where they go. But one thing that has helped me a lot is using these lines, because these lines now are starting to come together. Sometimes a piece will have one of the little circles on, and that will make it easier to identify. But like, so when I was trying to sort through such a large pile like the purples, I was looking for pieces with lines on, and some of the lines are different colours. So the lines on these ones are kind of blue. There's some lines on here that are pink. Down here, there's kind of a light green. So in some cases, I was able to get started on a section, building it up, using the lines depending on what colour they were, and of course the background. So I'm going to continue like that, basically. I'm going to try and put as many of these purple pieces in as I can. The more of those I manage to put in, the more miscellaneous pieces I'm managing to spot and get them in, and pieces up here as well and here. So I'm going to try and whittle those piles down. The edges are all spread out because I've found a good few false edges in there that have ended up going in the middle. So as I say, I'm dipping in and out, but the more pieces that are going into the puzzle, the more manageable these piles are getting. And I'm just going to use that same method I've been using with the purples to just try and fill in these gaps now and finish the puzzle off. But it's really, it's a nice level of challenge, this puzzle, and it's such a gorgeous, brightly coloured puzzle, and I'm loving all these pastel shades, then bit contrasted with these kind of rich dark shades. It's just so lovely, and I'm really enjoying it. But that slight sort of trickiness element is really enjoyable, and the fact as well that you've got some random cut going on as well, sometimes that can kind of throw me a little bit, but you know, in a good way. It's a good level of challenge, this puzzle, so I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to just carry on at that, getting rid of most of these purples, as many as I can, whittle down the miscellaneous and some of these pieces here, and I've got greens. Okay, so having finished off the edges and also all of the green and yellow pieces, which are now all gone from that side, I began to get a little worried because I could not find the corner piece there. So I thought, well, maybe I missorted it and it ended up in the pile of pinks, but having turned all of those over, I realised it wasn't. So I got a little worried, crawled around on the floor for a bit to see if I dropped it on the floor. Then it occurred to me to check the bag that the pieces came in, and guess what? I found it. It was stuck in the bottom of the bag. So, silly me. I never double checked that, but anyway, I'm relieved it's there, so that is the edge complete. So now, I hope all of these pieces will fill out this puzzle. There are a lot of pink sections in this puzzle. So yeah, just no strategy really, just onto these pinks, trying to use shade and also these lines to finish it off. So that is me finished, the Color Bliss puzzle from Unified Pieces, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was just such a lovely, lovely puzzle to build. I can't fault it. It just, I mean, right from the presentation of the box, the way everything you have inside the box, the lovely poster, the nice postcard, which I used as my reference for building it, the gorgeous wee cotton bag that the pieces come in with the zip on the top, all of it was just so good. And the pieces themselves, I loved how they had a soft touch to them that mirrored the feel of the box itself. They weren't so velvety that, you know, they were hard to kind of slide into place, but they felt really good. There was no glare on the pieces from light whatsoever. And it just was so fun to do. One of the things I really loved in particular about this puzzle and the image itself is that it wasn't a gradient in the normal sense. I mean, I know there's lots of different types of gradients. Some gradients have kind of textures to them. This one has these kind of geometric lines and shapes on them. But I also loved the fact that the way the shapes overlap creates different mixtures of colours, and there isn't only colours blending from one to another, there's also blocks of colour beside different blocks of colour. So you have these very distinct lines between the different shades of colour. And it was, I mean, the colour palette itself, the pastel shades, it just drew me in right away. As soon as I saw the image on the website, I really, really was drawn to it. I loved as well the fact that it's a random cut puzzle. Now, I can't honestly say I've done a random cut puzzle on the channel per se. I have done things like your crypt puzzles, which have some funny shaped pieces in, and I have done round puzzles, which obviously have slightly different shaped pieces in order to accommodate the fact that they're round. This one was a rectangular puzzle, but it had areas of random cut, which again was challenging, but also just added a level of interest to it that I really, really liked. And I do think, you know, as it said on the box, as I said in the intro, that it was a really meditative experience building this puzzle. I really did immerse myself in it, and it was such a good, fun puzzle to do. The pieces were all fine. They were really great quality, nice and thick. There was barely any puzzle dust. The fit of the pieces was a little loose, but again, not to the extreme. I was able to move small sections around, maybe 3 and 4 pieces together. I was able to move. I couldn't move massive big sections like perhaps in a Ravensburger or anything like that, but that didn't surprise me. You had some pieces that were not necessarily attached to each other because of the random cut. You had some false edges and things like that, so they weren't always connected anyway. So I kind of expected that, really, and everything about this puzzle just went together to make the whole thing really a really lovely and unique experience. And I'm so glad and appreciative that Mizi from Unified Pieces reached out to me to send me these puzzles, because I absolutely loved it. So if you are interested in doing a Unified Pieces puzzle, then don't forget there is a discount code in the description that you can use on their website if you want to try one of these puzzles for yourself. I would highly recommend giving it a go. Color Bliss in particular was just brilliant, but I also really loved Da Boom. I built that. I didn't record that, but I built it in my lounge, and I just enjoyed the process of putting it together, and that was equally fun for all the same reasons as Color Bliss was really good fun. So do go and have a look at that and see if you want to have a go at a Unified Pieces puzzle. I think that's everything. If there is anything I have not said, or you have any questions that I've maybe not addressed, please do leave a comment below and I will try and answer them. Or if you don't necessarily have a question and you just want to make a comment, then please do. And if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, then please consider subscribing. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Other than that, I will say goodbye for now, and I will see you in the next one. Happy puzzling!